Alternatives is a restorative justice project. Some of you would know that. However, for us, restorative justice is about applying to the situations that we face and see. So for us, this project started as a group of young people on our Start Employability project. But it's a partnership that we have with Include Youth. And what it does is it takes young people who are 17 to 24 and it gives them an opportunity who may have not been in employment, education or training. And what it does is it tries to get them back on that ladder. So as a reward, I suppose in some regards, some of those young people have came from difficult circumstances. Some of them haven't. Some of them just particular life circumstances has led them not to be doing education, employment or training. But the very nature that they come from the greater Shankill, in some regards, puts them at a disadvantage. But we don't allow that disadvantage to try and hold young people back. And we don't allow those labels that may be applied to a young person to hold them back, and we encourage young people to try and shake off those labels. So for us as a restorative justice project, START is very much part of what we do. It's about taking young people and giving them an opportunity. And these group of young people who started this journey were young people who out of the START programme had got themselves into employment. Now, anyone in this area trying to get a job will know it's very difficult. But as I say, without getting into personal details, some of those young people came from very difficult circumstances and they achieved a lot. Not only to get on the START programme, but to progress into employment. So we want to acknowledge that. And they went on a journey that looked at what labels had been put on them, what labels they had shaken off or got away from, and more importantly, we used it as a way of looking at, as a restorative justice project, how do we actually build young people to understand other labels that are put on other people. And I think when you take the Holocaust, there's no worse extreme what human beings have done on other human beings with the Holocaust. So we were able to give them an opportunity to get out of Northern Ireland, to see a different country, but also to explore a different culture, to get an opportunity to see something that in many ways was very difficult and wasn't very pleasant, but it was a learning, because it was about them looking at what happens when people put a label on someone. What happens when you start to demonise someone or you start to generalise someone, and then that leads to more extreme. And that, unfortunately, that's what we do as human beings. So as a restorative justice project, we want to not only empower young people and give them opportunities, but we want them to reflect on themselves, and we want them to look at others and treat others with a bit of respect. Learn from different cultures, appreciate different cultures, and more importantly, treat people with a bit of kindness and a bit of respect that people deserve. And that is the essence of the concept of Journey Beyond Labels.
For some of you that don't know me, my name's Nathan. If I stutter or whatever when I'm talking, I'm not very good at reading out. But this is just sort of like an overview of my personal story of where I was and where I am now. From a young age, everyone has been labelled in some way or another. For me, mine has been a young Protestant male from a working class background. And according to statistics, I shouldn't be where I am now. The Shankill area is seen as a place with high deprivation, and people automatically think that those who come from the Shankill area won't achieve much, and that the label put on them are often true. I could have easily lived up to expectations of statistics. At one stage in my life, I was involved with the wrong crowd. Should do that. I was labelled as a waster who was getting up to no good by my local community and even in my school. This led me to having a I don't care attitude, which then led to me getting involved in different types of social behaviour, such as drugs, alcohol and vandalism. I was involved in all this roughly about 7 years ago, but about 6 years ago was when I got involved in a group with Alternatives, which was, I don't know if nailed it, but Billy was definitely taking it. During these group sessions and alternatives, we looked at issues such as antisocial behaviour, built awareness, and how to make the community better and safer. We learned about restorative justice. Learning about all this led us into doing something positive for the community. This is when the group came together doing our project in the local youth club. The mural spread across, it was like a room like this, slightly smaller, all 4 walls. One side split positive, one side split negative. The negative side was about like the consequences of misuse and drugs, the other side was doing well with education, all that sort of stuff. So surprisingly throughout that period of working with alternatives, everything started to change. I began to realise who my mates really were and how that lifestyle wasn't for me. So instead of taking the path that everyone expected me to, I changed and tried to become more positive. I got involved in a number of other youth groups, which helped me then gain the motivation to do well and improve in school. Getting to this stage wasn't easy, and the process of wanting to better myself was even harder. I struggled with schoolwork, but really loved being involved in youth groups at night. I didn't enjoy school at all. I didn't feel as if the formal side of education was for me, but I knew I had to get my English and Maths. It wasn't until I done a 1-year course at 6th form and got my English that I realised that youth work was something I wanted to do. With this motivation, I decided I wanted to further 2 years at 6th form to gain my A levels so I could get access to the community youth work degree. These actual 2 years, surprisingly, it didn't get much easier, but these 2 years were torture. I was still labelled by teachers as they were expecting me to fail. Some teachers were doing everything in their power to throw me off course. I still pushed through, even though it was difficult, as I knew I had to do it. My approach to get my A levels got even harder because roughly 2 months before my exams, I'd been thrown out of school. But me having the determination I did, I hit back into school by showing how much this meant to me. After several meetings with those in power, the opportunity to still do my exams. After several meetings with those in power, they offered me the opportunity to still do my exams under the circumstances that I wasn't allowed in the school at all until the exam was on. So this made the possibilities of me passing exams very more unlikely. But it didn't let it stop me. I wasn't going back to the label that people once knew me for. I didn't want people to know me as Nathan Larry, the fella who got through to school and will probably be a waster. This motivated me more. After all the obstacles, I passed my exams, which brings me to here. I'm currently on my 2nd year of my youth work degree. So honestly, if I had one piece of advice, no matter how many times people try and label you, ignore it or use it as motivation to change.
Hello everyone, my name is Mark Thompson. I was no angel to say the least during my late teenage years, and would look up to silly things like writing graffiti on the walls or staying out late, but it was never that bad. Just the usual things that teenagers get up to. I guess I did misbehave as I was labelled in school as no good and that I wouldn't amount up to anything. Some people said I was a waster who wasn't going anywhere in life, but I lived up to those labels by showing off with my mates and getting involved in stuff I shouldn't have been. All these labels stuck with me, and I believed them. I truly believed there was no way for me in terms of securing a good career or having a nice family and a home. Thankfully, I set out to prove those who labelled me that they were wrong. I enrolled on the START programme here at Alternatives and began studying my Maths and English. I also started exercising a bit to lose some weight. I developed my employability skills and get rid of my negative people in my life. When Stephen thought I was ready, we applied for many jobs, which initially I was unsuccessful, but I kept trying, and thankfully I secured full-time employment as a yard operator. As well as that, I passed my Maths in English, and my work put me through a range of qualifications, also my forklift licence. My partner also gave birth to my son during this period of time, which was a very proud moment for me. I was so proud to have my own home and family, which I loved dearly, and who I could provide or I could afford and I prayed for. I also look back with great pride of how far I've come in such short space of time and providing my labours wrong. Unfortunately, the Jews of World War II who were rounded up across Europe and killed never got the opportunity to prove people wrong. Not that they had to, of course. What struck me about our trip to Auschwitz was the evil done upon Jewish people, all because they were labelled. I fully understand the negative labelling can do to others in our society, and that by educating others and those who are different is the only way forward.
Hello everyone, how's it going? Is it alright? I'm Mark. I'm just going to read out my wee piece of the story here, okay? So hope you enjoy it. Alright folks, for me whenever I was in school, I was branded as a waster, a nobody, along with Brother Matthew. Remember he is? He's out here somewhere. There he is, we're back. I was branded Brother Matthew. This was because of the behaviour of our entire class, but also with my ungrateful attitude that I had towards people like my teachers. When I was called a waster, I didn't care. I had that attitude of like, I don't care about you, I don't care about anyone else. Anyone thought about me with my lazy attitude, but the more I thought about it, I didn't want to be a nobody. For me, I wanted to be someone and have a good career, a positive career. This label inspired me to prove my teachers wrong, so I went and continued to do my GCSEs whenever I was going out through. I got good grades by just studying 24/7, because I was highly motivated to prove my teachers wrong. As I proved my teachers wrong, it felt really good. It was great. I'm not gonna lie. It was good to get one over the teachers, like, you know. And then I wanted to go a step further and try and challenge myself by doing the A-levels. And to be honest, basically, I just wanted to prove the teachers wrong. Every time I just wanted to prove the teachers wrong. I just wanted to prove the teachers wrong that I was going to make something of my life and do it in the correct way, working hard. I continued to go against the advice of my teachers and give up. I was told I would amount to nothing in my life, and look at me now. Still same. I studied day in and day out, even stayed behind in school to get good grades for university or even a job. Thankfully, I proved my teachers who doubted me and got good grades. This label, a waster, a nobody, a waste of space, motivated me to do well for myself and the family and my community. Personally, I wanted to make a good name for myself, to which I think I've done, but this trip to Poland has really been a real eye-opener for me in terms of just learning of the extreme inhumanity that was meted out against the Jews, all because they were labelled different. Labelling people could potentially have disastrous consequences for ordinary people. It makes people not feel good about themselves and impacts on their self-worth. If there's one thing I've learned in life, is never judge a book by its cover. Thank you.
You know, whether it's a young mother that's struggling because maybe they did okay at school, but as I say, as a young mother they had to retract from education. Whether it's a young person who was in the throes of maybe risk-taking behaviour or in with the wrong crowd, or whether it's a kid that hasn't done anything wrong but just doesn't know where to go in life. That's what the START project is doing. And not just the START project, but that's what all our different projects are trying to do, is give people a chance. Give people encouragement that are within our own community. And as I say, the very fact that you're born or live in this community, you're already up against it. But you can see, despite having those barriers, it doesn't mean that you can't overcome them, that you can't get rid of that label and you can't be something that's going to be purposeful and worthwhile. And I'd just like to say thanks for coming and listening to the young people's story. And I would like to give acknowledgement to Mark and Stephen who worked on the START project. The START project for us, as I say, is one aspect of the work that we do, but it really is one of those projects where you can see a progression, you can really see where a young person can come. And by the way, it's not just important about getting a job, whilst that is obviously the ideal, but a lot of these young people are just getting out. Some of them are even just getting up out of bed and coming and actually interacting with other young people is a big step. So it's about meeting people where they're at and trying to encourage them to move on. And as I say, Stephen and Mark, I know Mark's moved on, but it is a project that we think really does and can physically see the difference in young people.
The few years that I've been in Northern Ireland, it's really been quite a privilege to meet in forums such as these, not just to explain about the Jewish people, not just to explain about suffering that maybe some have gone through, but the emphasis here this evening, as is the emphasis that I believe should be in life, is that people are different, and our learning curve is to learn to embrace the different and to embrace the difference. If there is a lesson from the Holocaust, and one of the things that was depicted on the film here, that if we have a selective memory and tend to rule out things that have happened in history, then history will repeat itself. It will repeat itself. So that isn't history, what you've just seen. That needs. It has a need to be brought here, home. What are you going to do with this? So I've thought of some challenging questions for you. What we've all seen, yes, it's something that happened then, but there are things that are happening now on our doorstep. What are we going to do? Are we going to remain silent? Are we going to be passive? Or are we going to become a non-silent majority? Are we not going to allow these things to happen? Are we going to be able to contribute to be able to, well, not allow these sort of things to happen again? And thank you for coming to the synagogue. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And in general, as I said when I was recently in another place, I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity of meeting with yourselves, and I really feel very privileged to have the honor of sharing these thoughts with you all. Thank you very much.
I have had the privilege to go to Auschwitz, and Rabbi, I suppose I understand why you're tired, but it's right that you hand the mantle on to the rest of us to remember what happened in that time. And lads, I want to say to you how incredibly proud. Labels are not good things, and what you have said and what you've demonstrated is that we see beyond the labels that other people put on us. We own our own labels, but we see beyond the labels that other people put on other people, and that we see the human being. And as the rabbi was speaking, I was reminded of, this is a picture of a postcard I have had on my office wall for the last 30 years. And I actually forget it's there, but it follows me to every job I go. And this is probably what I want to leave, and I think is the theme of today's event. And it's a poem for one of Pastor Niemöller, I can never say it, who was a victim of the Nazis. First they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the communists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. And it seems to me, or Billy, I want to say to you that what you're doing today is you're talking about community, and we speak out for each other, and we look after each other, and that's what rights and children's rights particularly about, is if we want to be looked after, we look after each other. So congratulations and well done for protecting and looking after your community, and I just want to add how proud I am of all of you. Thank you very much.